All right. Well, I have been waiting for this day for a very long time. Today, what we're going to be rambling about and introducing to you is a thought that has been heavy on my mind for the past 6 to 9 months, and it's basically an all-encompassing thought. And what I'm calling that thought is exponential income. This is important. Listen up, please. Exponential income is my idea, theory, plan, or whatever you want to call it, of an alternative to the typical work-life situation that we have. For me, I can never see the whole retiring at 65 to try to start really enjoying things and not spend all of the money that I've sacrificed all my good years saving up, try not to spend all that before I died in my golden years. Exponential income is my organized thoughts and beliefs about how I see the economic situation that most Americans are facing. And important here, my alternative plan about how to enjoy the process of growing wealth while prioritizing a life of mental and physical health that I never plan to retire from. That is exponential income. One of the main reasons that I wanted to do a video like this is because I think possibly some of these ideas that I have might be able to help some of these other people, some other folks that feel the same way. And like a few years ago, you can check out, like I made this video on my quarter life crisis, because like this hit a while back when I just was like, this is not the life that I was sold, and the way of doing it was not going to work out. And it was pretty freaking obvious to me. And I had some major events happen that was irrefutable that I needed to change some directions. Well, I think COVID has kind of been that irrefutable evidence for a lot of people. So why exponential income? Because the world has dramatically changed over the last few decades. The old way of doing things aren't going to work anymore. The writing's on the wall, and if we don't adopt, okay, hold on, let me get the writing's on the wall, and if we don't adapt, we're going to be left behind. If you haven't noticed, our economy has changed a lot. Not only is it us millennials have seen how the old ways of doing things is not going to work out. Very few people have retirement that will last the rest of their lives, and most of them were miserable while they were trying to go to work, pay the bills, and then put something away for retirement. I've seen two major economic collapses in my adult life, along with the disappearance of work benefits like pensions and health insurance. The cost of living compared to the average income has been skyrocketing, and we're about to see some major inflation. I've talked with so many people that feel trapped and depressed with no idea what to do. And the only option either seems to be commit yourselves to a job that takes 50 to 70 hours a week with the hope of getting ahead, or you can have an identity outside of your career and barely scrape by. And that used to be pretty freaking accurate of how I felt. And it was freaking depressing, absolutely depressing. And man, I feel like there are so many other people in that situation. I have personally spent weeks in bed, only getting out to shower, not being able to sleep for months on end. And I felt completely justified. And I think that a lot of people should be justified in the depression and the fear that they're feeling for what the future holds. And so this is kind of a lot of what this exponential income is. An exponential income is for the people that like are depressed, and you know why. You know there's no opportunities, you know there's too many responsibilities, you know that your path will not get you to where you want to go, and it's not from your own faults, it's not from lack of effort, it's not for any of this stuff. It's the fact that our economy has changed. We had some really crappy plans and policies, and our economy has just been basically thriving on low wages and trying to suck everything out of the people at the bottom. And it's not going to work anymore. Our economy is, I'm not going to say collapsing right now, but people aren't willing to work those jobs anymore. And you shouldn't. I've heard that 40% of millennials are going to quit their job in the near future, and they should, because these jobs are a bunch of bull crap. It's unbelievable, this BS that these companies are trying to like shove off as jobs. And we should just sit here and hail you for giving us the opportunity to slave our lives away to barely make it through while we make your dreams come true. And that's so freaking over. But it is going to be on us to make that change and to figure it out. And so this is kind of my, hopefully, at least a little bit of a plan of how I'm trying to do it. And I also think that this might help other people in similar situations. I mean, it really seems to me after losing my job that I thought was like, you know, I finally settled down and got the good job, and then you lose that. And I was like, after the recession and after that, I was like, I'm done. I am not depending on anybody else anymore. I think that it's honestly safer to go do your own thing, to be able to control your own path and your own finances. And I really do think that a big part of this is people want their time more than their money, or they want to be able to control their time. And there are just not a lot of good options out there to do that right now. And I do not want to work 40 hours a week for the rest of my good years just trying to make money. Like, I'm not going to do that. It's a bunch of crap. And not only that, it's a dumb plan. I'm not going to let other people tell me how much money I'm going to make and how much time I'm going to freaking work, especially with all the opportunities that are out there anymore. And I really do think there's so many opportunities, and the jobs out there that are available are so crappy that I think it's the time now to take it upon ourselves and actually change this and change the economy and take control of our own lives to actually get where we want to go. Think about this. I'm 30 years old, supposed to retire at 65, bullcrap, 72 by the time I get there. So I've got 40 years that I can scrape by, pay all my bills, and hope to have maybe $1 million to live on for the next, God knows, 20 to 40 years. Who the frick knows? Or what I think is a much better idea is I can enjoy life now with some mindful intentions of how I want my life to be. And I don't have to just chase the money right now, because what I'm going to do is figure out my skills, assets, knowledge, and experiences that I can start putting these income pyramids in place. I have 40 freaking years to come up with essentially $1 million. But this is the difference, is 40 years to come up with $1 million and then spend it all. I've got 40 years to, let's step back, $1 million to spend it over the next 30 years. So you've got $30,000 a year, whatever, something like that. Why don't you just spend 40 years putting systems in place where you can get at least $30,000 a year in your pocket? That's so not difficult. You literally only have to come up with less than $1,000 of income a year to get to the same place. Passive income or semi-active income or anything like that. It is, in my mind, such a better idea, such a better way of going about it. And really the basis of this exponential income is like, hey, screw retirement, screw all of this. Let's look at this different. Let's get an evaluation of our life, where we want to go, and systems put in place that we never have to change our lives. And we don't have to forego loving our lives now for possibly doing it in the future if we make it that long. Social media plan and outline. All right, pay attention, folks, because I need you to join me on this. Okay. The YouTube, I want to be documenting exponential income, my journey through it. I want to be a do-it-all. I have these ideas. I'm writing them down. I'm giving them to you, but I'm also trying to prove them myself because, well, I mean, these are my ideas, but I really do think that they'll resonate with other people. But social media plan, that's what I want to do. I'm going to sit here like this, ramble, get your input, try to sort it out, give you the next rough draft, and move on. I am going to try to do a weekly schedule of that for the time being. Can help me get off the ground and help me hopefully prove these ideas, and then you guys can go do them all. Unfortunately, money is not my number one priority, but is absolutely a limiting factor. So if I could get that taken care of, I can focus on more important things. So I've actually started a Patreon, which is a crowdfunding where you can support monthly. If any of this resonates with you, and if you kind of appreciate any of this stuff, or you just feel for the poor dude trying to make it, I would absolutely really appreciate your support there. The other thing too is with this book, I have not set it up yet, but I absolutely plan on having crowdfunding for this book, because I think that is just one of the best ways to get some buzz around it. And not only that, I want to have opportunities with different types of support where you can be more involved in this book, and even up to the point of legit having names on the cover for the highest contributors and the people that really do help the most. I'm open to all of that type of stuff because I really want this to be a group effort. I absolutely need help from just your input, because I want this to be as clear of an idea to help as many people as possible. But also, for me to do that, I have to spend a lot of time on it, and I have been, and that means I can't be spending that time making money. So if any of this resonates with you, there will absolutely be a link to the crowdsourcing that I have for this. That's all I've got to say now. Thanks for listening. I really hope you got some value out of this. Again, please, I would really appreciate your support if through subscribing. I have a new podcast, and if you want to look at all the things in the description, I would really appreciate it. All right, till next time, hit the subscribe button for me, would you?